All right, guys, I have a strange story for you guys, and it has to do with the U.S. Virgin Islands and the lawsuit that's going on there between the Attorney General against J.P. Morgan. And it has to do with Epstein. And the strange thing is, first thing, Biden's there right now vacationing. And I'll get into why that's strange anyway. And the other thing that's strange as well is the Attorney General got fired this weekend. And of course, I think they decided to do it this weekend so it wouldn't catch mainstream media news and it wouldn't be in the news cycle for very long. And it hasn't been because no one's reporting on it except for, the Gateway Pundit, which I have the article right here for you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. U.S. Virgin Island Attorney General fired after suing J.P. Morgan over Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking scandal. The U.S. Virgin Islands Attorney General, who filed a lawsuit against J.P. Morgan over Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking scandal, has been fired. Denise George last week filed a lawsuit against J.P. Morgan Chase for alleging the bank profit from Epstein's sex trafficking scheme. The lawsuit also accuses J.P. Morgan of turning a blind eye to suspicious activity that occurred from Epstein's account. In the lawsuit, in U.S. Virgin Islands Attorney General Denise George stated, Over more than a decade, J.P. Morgan clearly knew it was not complying with federal regulations in regards to Epstein's related accounts, as evidence to its too little too late efforts after Epstein was arrested on federal sex trafficking charges. Governor Albert Bryan Jr. fired Denise George over the weekend. All right, this part of the article is from the Virginia Island Daily News. Governor Albert Bryan Jr. has fired Attorney General Denise George and appointed Carol Thomas Jacobs to the role in acting capacity. Government House Communication Director Richard Motto Jr. said Sunday. Motto did not respond to a request for comment about Bryan's reason for the decision, which comes days after the Daily News reported that George filed a lawsuit in federal court in Manhattan accusing J.P. Morgan Chase of helping Jeffrey Epstein exploit women and girls. Bryan, in a brief statement released late Sunday night, also gave no reason for George's termination. I relieved Denise George of her duties as Attorney General this weekend. I thank her for her service to the people of the territory during the past 4 years as Attorney General and wish her the best in her future endeavors. Assistant Attorney General Carol Thomas Jacobs will be serving as Acting Attorney General, the governor said in a prepared statement with the customary paragraph touting transparency. Now, some of you guys are looking at the story like, what's the big deal? People get fired all the time. And the big deal is number one, she gets fired almost a week after she decided to do this lawsuit. And the other thing that's interesting is Joe Biden's there. And the reason it's interesting is because of the whole thing with Ukraine and the prosecutor and getting him fired because of Burisma and Hunter Biden. Now, I'm going to emphasize this a little bit more when I show you this tweet I found that kind of emphasizes everything I just said. Let me go ahead and bring it up. It's a tweet from Reagan O'Hanley. Remember when Biden got the Ukraine prosecutor fired for investigating Hunter and Burisma? Well, on December 27th, the U.S. Virgin Island Attorney General filed a lawsuit against J.P. Morgan for helping Jeffrey Epstein. Biden flew to U.S. Virgin Islands and the AG was fired days later. What a coincidence. Now, guys, when I see a story like this, I think of Steve Bannon's great saying, and he actually has on a placard that sits behind him when he's doing his podcast, and it says, "There are no conspiracies, but there are no coincidences either." And I tend to agree with that, especially with this story. It's not a coincidence that Biden's there at the same time that this Attorney General gets fired. That's just my opinion, but I'd like to know what y'all think. Comment down below. Don't forget, hit like and subscribe and share this content. Helps with the algorithm. We'll talk to you later. Peace.